Wait, you've got to be kidding me. Let's get this untwisted.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting-a-ting-a-ling too. I can't snap. What? Just hear those sleigh bells ringling, ting-ting-ting-a-ling too. What? I can't snap. Welcome back to the podcast. I cannot express the mood I am in right now. Like, just the absolute serotonin running, streaming, racing through my veins right now. In fact, it's actually it's pretty late. It's about 11 p.m., maybe about an hour before I'm supposed to upload this podcast. But there's a reason I'm doing it so late. And it's because I wanted to get in the proper holiday spirit with you all, with a formal introduction to the holiday season, baby. It's here. We're ready for it. I'm so stinking ready for it. And it just dawned on me right before I started recording this, that this is my first year doing the podcast. It's only my second holiday season with the podcast, but my first holiday season where we are doing video podcasts. So that means we get to have holiday themed episodes. And maybe something I don't emphasize enough about my personality is that in general, I'm a lover of life, one might call me. You know, you could put it on my my autobiography. First person to ever say that. No, I'm a lover of celebrations. I love parties. I love themes. I love a good holiday celebration. All holidays, I'm game. All celebrations, I'm game. But I do not always do a great job of executing those themes if I don't plan well in advance, i.e. Halloween, which we will touch on because I'd love to talk about it. That's exactly why I'm filming this so late, because I want to talk about Halloween. However, I don't pass up the opportunities to dress up when I can. Sometimes, I don't fully think things through, which is why I look the way I look today. However, we still have the oomph, we still have the spirit, we still have the fun, the holiday cheer that I will be bringing to you all from now until eternity, honestly, but really for the next few weeks, few months of the pod. So to explain the outfit, and I do sort of apologize in advance because, especially looking at it on camera, it's not as glamorous as I would have wanted, but here is the backstory, okay? So I'm in the shower, I'm getting ready for the podcast, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh my good golly gosh, I need to be dressing up for this. This is once in a lifetime opportunity. Hello, November 1st. Hello, holiday season. I need something to wear, right? I need something holiday gear-y. But because of the horrendous turnaround time of Halloween, October 31st, to the quote-unquote official, or at least normalized quote-unquote start of the holiday season, I don't really bring out the holiday decorations formally until November 1st because, you still want to pass out trick-or-treating candy. I still want to pass out candy to trick-or-treaters with a spooky, scary skeleton in the background instead of a Christmas tree. They're going to be a little bit confused. I'd love to do it, but it wouldn't work. However, I did wait at my door for a good few hours tonight, to receive no trick-or-treaters. I was so hopeful. I don't know why I really thought that they would be trick-or-treating in my building. I mean, I should have known better. It would be a weird thing to begin with, but I did get out a bowl. I did get out candy. I had a lot of great, fantastic treats. I would have been the best candy bowl in the block. But alas, nobody came to the door. So I'm not going to be offering out my free candy now. Just eating it all myself, I guess. Because of how small my apartment is and just the lack of storage space, we're fortunate to have a storage unit, which is where I keep my extraordinary large amount of holiday gear. And when I say it's an extraordinary amount, it's absolutely absurd. It takes up about 75% of my storage unit, and Reese just ruined my surprise. So I basically have no fun holiday things in my apartment. And I told Keith, when you come home from work tomorrow, I'd love for you to get all of it out. I'll have all the Halloween things packed up. We'll do a quick little turnaround change, little costume moment, like a, in theater, costume change, whatever. And we'll get it all done. It'll be holidays before you know it in this apartment. But I did not think that through when I was thinking about this podcast needing to dress up in holiday gear. So I had to brainstorm with what I had on deck with me currently. The first is, I shall show you. The first thing I thought of was my Christmas merch from 2020. Now, I have this sweatshirt and one other one. Sorry, Reese, blocking you out of the shot. I have this sweatshirt and I think a black one in my closet because I do still wear it year round. And I like this one. However, I would have to wear it backwards for you to kind of like really get the gist that I'm trying to scream in your face it's the holiday season. And I didn't know if it was going to look weird. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep looking. So this was my first option. Then I found this sweater, which I think I thrifted. I either thrifted it or it's my mother's. I don't remember. But I got this years ago. And this is like subtle holiday vibes. I thought, oh, this could be cute, like a little fleece moment on camera, bring in the holiday spirit with this. I have literally no other options. Sounds good. So that was option number 2 until I went to go put on some sweatpants to wear, which are nothing spectacular. But in the same drawer, I happened to see this beautiful, dazzling moment of a sweater here, which I recently thrifted. And, in the moment when I thrifted this sweater, I thought, holy guacamole, gold, truly gold. I thought it was genius. I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was, full of life character, if you will, very unique. And then putting it on today, I think was my first time I've put this on. It is, I'm realizing, quite ugly. And, there is that whole ugly sweater trend, one might say. I hate to use the word ugly because I love all of my Christmas sweaters. None of them are ugly, but you get the point. But this one has a particular je ne sais quoi that I'm not sure how I'm loving it. So we'll see how I can style this throughout the holiday season. Maybe it's just not my look. I don't understand why there's stripes on this side and like not on this side. We are not sure. So then, of course, what did I do next? I commissioned my dog to help me out. And I knew that little Miss Reese here had her elf costume handy because she wore it last night for Halloween. And I figured if I can't pull off the show on my own, we'll get Reese to do it. So I put on her elf costume, hoping, I could win the hearts of all of the beautiful people watching this. Because I dressed up my dog and I couldn't dress up myself. I realized I have these slippers. Always just showing my slippers on the podcast, aren't I? I have these slippers, which I purchased when I visited the Christmas Story Real House in Ohio, in Cleveland. That was super stinking fun. I also have an ornament sitting right over here that sits around me year round. So I'm like pulling at straws, bottom line, to get to this theme for today. And you know what? It only can go up from here. That is the bar that we are setting for the rest of this holiday season themed. Really? Thank you, Reese. She needed a place for her head and my microphone was in the way. How dare I try to record a podcast? I'm so sorry, my precious thing. I know. You're like, why are we doing this right now when we're not asleep? Because we're having the best time celebrating the holidays. And I commissioned you to put that on. And you look darling. So I hope you own it. But from now forward, I'd love to bring on a theme. If you'd like to participate, you can wear one of your Christmas sweaters as you're listening, as you're watching. Usually I have a goal of wearing a different Christmas sweater every single day for the month of December. It's kind of like my usual go-to because I think it's like a fun way of, one, getting the full usage out of all of my sweaters. 2, I have so many fun ones to showcase. Like I was saying, I don't like to call them ugly because I think they're all a little bit unique. However, in actuality, they are ugly. They once had their time. Now they're fine, whatever. But I think they all come around to me because there was this one that must have been one of my grandma's or my mother's. And it like kind of is Christmassy, but at the same time, it gives off no indication that it's a holiday sweater other than like the fabric and the material and the look and the vibe, because it has a giant swan on it and it's horrid. It's horrendous. It's not cute in any way. And I used to never wear it, even though it was in my collection, until I realized one day, you know what? This is unique in its own way. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's adding to my attire in some way, shape, or form. And I came to love it. So I'm sure I'll do the same with this random Noel moment. You know what I look like? I look like an English schoolboy from like an old movie I've seen from like the 1950s or something. Maybe it's the collar, it's the black with the red. Something's off, but here we are. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. We're getting into the spirit and I'm so stinking excited. And I hope that this is going to be a fun time of year, because this is when Taylor, I believe, truly comes alive. Throwback to the time I cried in class because I proclaimed that Christmas was the only thing I was passionate about in life. And I do have an episode on that if you're curious. And it is probably one of the most embarrassing stories of my whole entire life. To make a long story short, we were talking about what our passions are in class, what we want to do with our lives. And the table turned to me, and I basically broke down in that moment and explained that I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't have any direct passions or interests. This was sophomore year of college. I was very confused. I was very overwhelmed with life. And I started crying. And I said that the only thing I've ever really truly loved is Christmas. And that is the saddest, most embarrassing story you've ever heard. And my poor professor was like, what the fuck? How do I handle this girl? What do I do? I don't know. But alas, here we are. Speaking of the holiday season, programming update for you all. For the rest of 2021, I guess it is 2021, isn't it? For the rest of 2021, podcasting per usual, new episodes on Mondays per usual. I will probably have my last episode of the year. Let's pull up a calendar here so I give you a specific date. I will probably have my last episode of 2021 on December 20th, which I think makes the most sense. That's the last Monday before Christmas. Then we'll take off until the new year. Probably, I don't know if this even makes sense. Would I start season 4? No, I'd probably just carry on with season 3 because that doesn't make any sense. But it will be like a new era once again, a new fun start to 2022. However, if you're a watcher of my YouTube channel, which I'd probably assume that you are, I highly doubt you're just a random listener from the abyss. But if you are, hello, it's so good to have you. I have decided to embark on a proper Twistmas. If you are familiar, last year was my first real Twistmas, which is what I call my own version of Vlogmas. And the first year I had my channel, I attempted to do like all Christmas content, but I'm pretty sure I privated most of those videos. They were not good whatsoever. They're just not great. It was like a sad attempt at just trying to like participate with all of like these big creators and stuff. So that didn't really count. Last year was my first official year trying to do like my normal content, what I typically upload. Plus I wanted to involve myself in the holiday spirit of Vlogmas, but I didn't want to get myself very overwhelmed. So I decided to just do like one Christmassy holiday themed video one time per week, and it would go up on every single Sunday. So really it was only one additional video, I think 3 times. It wasn't even that much. And as much as I appreciated that sort of balance that Twistmas offered me, where I could, make some good content for you all while also doing a little bit of holiday things here and there, I felt like I could give it more. I want to give it more of my all this year. And I've always wanted to do Vlogmas. I've always wanted to do something of the sort. I feel like I'm in a good place this year where I'm feeling confident enough to give it a try. And I'm also going to be having some help from one of my lovely editor friends, Amanda Wan. She also has her own podcast. Some of you might be familiar. It's called Behind the Girl Boss podcast. She's also been on this podcast twice now. But anyways, Amanda helps me with editing, so it's going to be hopefully a lot more helpful. And yeah, my current plan right now is to do the 20 days of, I can't even say it because it's such a good tongue twister, the 20 days of Twistmas. I think it's going to be a blast. We'll do 20 vlogs or 20 holiday themed-esque videos, 20 days in a row, December 1st through December 20th. The thought, even out loud, saying that feels like a lot, but I think I'm excited. I'll do hopefully a better job, of doing some like pre-planned content, filming things ahead of time, except for the vlogs and whatnot. Those will hopefully all be as like up to date and as quickly turned around as possible. But if you have any fun suggestions for what you'd like to see this year, let me know. I have a few great ideas that I've always wanted to do and I always forget to do because I never plan it out well enough or never write them down ahead of time. But this is, to me, like this is like the YouTuber Olympics. Like it's so stinking fun. I think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of work, but so worth it. And it is your responsibility. I'm kindly asking you now, tasking you with, to keep me sane, level-headed, keep me afloat, that I don't like lose my holiday spirit cheer-esqueness. What does that even mean? I don't want to lose like my love for the holiday season by getting too caught up in the work of Twistmas. But to me, like I don't see it as work because it feels like such a fun new project that I'm not seeing it as a negative thing, because it's not. Like it's going to be such a blast, and I think the only way to make it sour is if I put like too much pressure on it, or I make it not as enjoyable as, excuse me, Reese, we're recording a podcast. If I make it not enjoyable by, I don't know, like not planning well enough or getting myself burnt out or something. And if I do get burnt out, I promise, I vow to stop and to give it the best I can give. And at the end of the day, it's just YouTube videos, It's not that deep. So that is the programming update for YouTube content. I'm very excited about it. I hope that you're excited too. I know it's a lot. I feel like I've never personally watched every single vlog that like my favorite creators have uploaded for their version of Vlogmas, but sometimes you get, very invested. You end up loving it. You never know. Hopefully you'll like it. I hope it's good to see. Like I said, let me know if you have any fun ideas. Leave them in the comments below for this YouTube video if you're watching there, or I will put up a question box on Spotify for what you want to see, what you're excited for this holiday season. I'm so sick excited. But like a very quick backtrack to what I wanted to start talking about this episode, which was my Halloween weekend, Halloween update. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm a big celebrator of things. I love celebrating any opportunity ever. Like Arbor Day, give it to me. We're celebrating all the trees, However, there's something about me that gets very nervous for Halloween, and I constantly and consistently drop the ball year after year. And I think a lot of it truly stems from a social anxiety perspective and a little bit of my ADHD, where I get so nervous about the task itself, I do nothing at all. And I don't plan and I don't think about it, and I try and just forget that it's happening and hope for the best, like the day that it happens. So I end up with like 0 plans, 0 costumes. And then I'm like scrambling at the last minute to do something fun and exciting and to wear something fun and exciting. And then, now that I've decided to like share parts of my life on the internet, I feel like a little tiny bit of, not pressure, but just like I want to do something fun. I want to be able to share it and share funny photos and videos. And I feel very silly when I never fully commit. So this year, Keith and I had been talking, what kind of couple costume can we do that is going to be fun, exciting? I love like a little bit of like a hilarious element to it. Like it can be something fun. It can be something a little spicy, but I like when there's something to laugh about, that it's not just like, oh my gosh, like they look so sexy. Cause that's not us. It just wouldn't fit who we are. So I like doing things that are like a little bit off the normal rocker. I don't know. So we had pretty much no ideas, and we just drove over to Spirit Halloween, and we're like, okay, we're going to figure this out. We're going to walk into this place. Maybe we'll get some ideas by seeing what's popular right now, or we're going to walk out of there empty-handed, and we're going to just think of something that we already have in our closet. We are not that top of mind creative. The only thing Keith really wanted to be was Squid Games. I wasn't opposed. However, I was thinking in my mind, everybody was going to be Squid Games, or at least everybody was going to do like some version of it. And I kind of think I'm wrong, because the only costume I saw time and time again last night was, well, not like I was anywhere out and about, but I mean on social media. The most popular costume I saw was Kravis, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Scott. I saw that everywhere, or some variety of the Kardashians. It's like kind of an easy-ish one, but good and creative, I would say. But I didn't see a single Squid Games person. Maybe I'm totally wrong. However, we go into Spirit Halloween. I'm not liking half the things I see. But do we need to address the fact that it is so impossibly hard to find costumes at Spirit Halloween, for example, or really just for women in most cases, that are a good mix between funny and spicy? Because if you walk into a store like Spirit Halloween, you are either getting like slutty pirate, sexy doctor, or a burger, a taco costume, like a blow up elephant. There is no in between. And I feel like I need to create a costume for the in-between gal, because I am the in-between gal. I have the hardest stinking time picking out a costume in those circumstances. It's very frustrating. So that's exactly what we're looking at as we're going through the aisles of Spirit Halloween. There is nothing that is even like the remotest. I'm getting furious. I can't speak. Nothing that's even the most subtle combination of the two. And finally, we see what we ended up stumbling upon and purchasing, which was Keith's costume. And it was a hospital patient in a patient gown. But for whatever reason, it came with a fake butt, a faux butt. As in, you would strap on the butt and it would peek out of the hospital gown in the back. If you've seen my Instagram, you know what the costume looks like. You know, it was cute. It was funny. And I thought we could play with this. I think it's been around for a while. I don't think we were the first people to ever do that. Of course not. But I felt like it was the first time I had seen that costume in the store. So at the moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, genius. So fun. Like, let's do that. And I can be a nurse. And I look at the nurses' costumes, and the one that I ended up picking out, at first I see it and I'm like, oh, this is not that bad. Like, it doesn't look that scandy. It's got a good in between to it. I can maybe vibe with this. Then, of course, we purchase our costumes. I take it home. I try it on, and I could not bend over. I couldn't stand straight without just so many things being revealed. And that is just not up my alley. That is just not who I am. I had no interest in doing that. And also, I don't know how they assumed that would be, it would even fit. Like, it wasn't long enough. It wasn't covering anything. I was irritated. So I had to go back. I had to purchase a different costume, something similar, different size, etc., whatever. So we ended up going with the nurse, the patient with his booty hanging out. And I wish I had a third or fourth costume, a Halloweekend story to tell you. But that's literally all that I have, because that's how badly we just kind of take the ball and then we drop it on the floor and we let it chatter all around us. I get so frustrated because I wish so badly that I had all of this fun coordination in my mind to pull off the best, most creative costumes that I see on TikTok and all over my Instagram feed. And it's so inspiring and it's so funny and people are so stinking creative. And I think I've realized it's not my forte. And maybe I just need to accept that. Like, I can love my holidays. I can be a big old celebrator, but I don't have to be the best celebrator. I don't have to be the most creative Halloween girl. And truly, I think it's because I'm so sidetracked with the fact that November is right around the corner. We're peeking into November time, the holiday season. It's my birthday month, which is exciting. I'm going to be very old in my eyes in like 3 weeks, which is terrifying, but here we go. But yes, this was my Halloween weekend. I hope that you had a good one yourself. If you did celebrate, I hope that you had a fun and safe time. You enjoyed yourself, you enjoyed your friends, your company, whatever. It's just such a fun time of year that I love types of events, or let's say like holidays, seasons, whatever, where it feels like every single person is participating, or just so many people are, I don't know, like actively doing something. And that's why I think it's so fun to scroll through social media the day of or the day after, where you're seeing everybody's posts and reveals and you get to see how creative people get. I love that sort of thing. I think it's like, it feels very communal to me. And literally, Taylor Community Woods, Taylor Communal Woods. I don't think communal has the same flow to it, but it's like my middle name. So I love it so stinking much. But on to like a little bit more of a personal note, I wanted to offer a little bit of an update to my personal training, as I promised, because it's something I've talked about sharing on this podcast. I am now in, oh my golly, I think I just finished my 6th week of personal training, which is nuts. Absolutely wild, because it feels like it's going by really, really fast. And of course it is. And I think at this point, that means I only have maybe 6 more weeks left. So I'm just right about at our halfway point. I'm saying about because I don't fully remember how long I signed up for. However, I guess to offer like a bit more of a better background for you in case you're not entirely familiar of what personal training offers, because frankly, I don't think I knew myself. I will say it's different for every single trainer that you're going to work with. So one trainer could be very focused maybe on just your training. One might be focused on your nutrition. One might be both. I think that if you're a great trainer, you should be focused on that plus more. And thankfully mine is. So basically, at least in the way that my training works, we're focused not only on our workouts, we're also focused on our nutrition. I personally have a protein goal that I'm trying to hit every single day as a part of me trying to also go into reverse dieting, which I'll get into in a second. Then we also talk about things that are more intertwined with our health journey, like our sleep schedule, our period schedule, our regularness, like how often we're pooping. Do we have brain fog? Do we have other wins that are outside of just numbers and workout routines, etc.? And I think that that's a really important thing, because obviously if you're going on a health and fitness journey, there's so many things that are ingrained in our minds as like, this is the right way to do something. And first and foremost, you think what you're eating and how you're moving your body. But if I don't get a good night's sleep at night, my body knows that, and it's going to affect so many other areas of our lives that we often kind of forget that those other components of our health journey are so stinking vital. So I'm very grateful that I'm working with a trainer that prioritizes those other health aspects as well. But when I first signed on with Maddie, her name is Maddie, I really was wanting some specific help in reverse dieting, because I knew that I wanted to get to a place where I was eating more, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing it in a safe and healthy way. And it is just like wild to me. First and foremost, let me just say this. I think that my metabolism has been so hurt over the years by following chronic dieting cycles, because for, I'm going to say like 20 plus years. No, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I wasn't dieting at age 4, but let's just say like 5-6 years. I was in horrible patterns of thinking that this was the best diet I had to follow, as in, let's say it's ketogenic. Let's say it's intermittent fasting, all the buzzword terms. I fell into those traps, let's say, of thinking that that's exactly what I had to do for my body. It was the best thing I had to do because it was what was being sold to me at the moment. It was the trendy, popular diet to follow. So I hadn't even recognized it, but my metabolism was very, very scarred and very damaged from years of doing that. And when I started being more serious about my healthy lifestyle, I was starting to lift weights. I was trying to eat better. I was trying to make sure I was taking care of my body. But I don't think I ever kind of took it from the base point and realized your body has been through so much over these past few years that we have to restore your hurt metabolism from all of the ways I mistreated it for so stinking long. So in my case, I was probably eating around 1,800 calories. I'm giving like rough estimate numbers because sometimes numbers can be like tricky to portray if you're not getting the full context. But let's just say I was eating around 1,800 calories prior to meeting with Maddie, with my personal trainer. I have been working up these past 6 weeks in a reverse dieting cycle where I'm trying to now eat somewhere around 2,200 calories, gradually increasing, etc., as we're going along. And I mean, when you're doing this in a proper and safe and guided environment, it is just beyond wild to me that I can, one, do this to help save my metabolism, to give my metabolism a break from not treating it so well for so long, as in I treated it poorly. I said that weird. It is just incredible. I was talking with Maddie about this today, but it feels like a science experiment because our bodies are so stinking smart and they adapt so well because they're just these amazing machines. And I have like insignificantly gained weight from eating nearly 400 or 500 calories more than I had been even just 6 weeks ago. And that is just wild to me. Like I've probably gained like 1 or 2 pounds, which is nothing. It basically means like nothing's changed, because our bodies fluctuate so much. But I'm working on building more muscle. I'm trying to get in my protein. I'm trying to prioritize my time in the gym and making sure that I'm working on my progressive overload. And I think it's really, really cool. And it's giving me a lot of good perspective into, one, how sad it is that I treated my body so wrong for so long, but then also two, that, I need to give my body a break and get out of that dieting cycle, which I hadn't been for so long, but I think I hadn't restored my metabolism, if that makes sense. So now that I'm like finally getting out of that, I can work to my maintenance and I can keep it at that, or I can cut, bulk, whatever the heck happens next. But I think it's been a really challenging experience for me mentally as well, because I had such a sad history of hurting my metabolism. I think I feel like I am stronger in my lifts. I feel like I have more energy for my workouts. I feel like it's fixed some brain fog that I had, for instance. I even feel like because I'm trying to be very cognizant of how much protein I'm getting in, for example, which I had not been doing for so long, I think it's really paying off. And I think it's really helping me in achieving a lot more of my goals and helping to get like a different body composition, as in body recomposition. I would also say that I just feel a lot more energized. I think that I had to get past in my mind, like the, I guess, fear maybe that I had of the unknown. And because I had never done this before, I didn't know what was going to happen with reverse dieting. I didn't know how my body was going to react. I just didn't know what to expect whatsoever. But I think that's where people find a lot of confidence and solace in personal trainers, because they are trained to know this information and you do trust them to know what they're doing. And it's also like, it's kind of scary to think, you're putting somebody's life in your hands, and that's something that's very personal to a lot of people. Your health and fitness journey is very vulnerable at times. It can feel like a very scary thing to be open about and to share so much about. I mean, even every single week, Maddie has me fill out kind of like a check-in, like how am I feeling? What were some great things about this week? What were some hard things? Or what were some victories that you had? Or how are you sleeping? How is your activity levels? Things like that. And I I remember doing it at first, and one of the questions that she goes through is like, are you regular? You know, as in like your pooping schedule. And I thought to myself, oh, I guess I just need to tell her like straight up, this is how many times a day I'm going or not going or whatever. And, you know, it's kind of like when you're talking to like a therapist, for example, and you're not sure if like you're allowed to say something, and then you realize like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It felt like one of those moments where I wasn't exactly sure of how to be vulnerable in that way, which is just like a really simple way of saying I was scared to tell people about my poop schedule. But here we are. I'm telling all of you. But I'm really happy with how everything has gone. I feel like I'm trying to really be better about just like getting more nourishing meals into my diet. I think I had for so long had maybe like processed foods too much in my daily diet. Like I would always turn to protein bars instead of trying to find like a more natural protein source to begin with, because I'm a bad cook. So I instantly think, okay, what's quick, what's easy, what doesn't have me turning on the stove? A protein bar. Protein bar has 20 grams of protein, and this package of meat has 20 grams of protein, like whatever. However, you know, there's certain nutrients that you're getting in the meat that you're not getting from the whatever the heck could be in the protein bar. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with protein bars, but I think in my case, I was overusing some of those things. So I'm just trying to like make smarter, smaller habits. I'm really trying to just like restore my relationship with the things that I'm putting in my body, the way that I'm viewing it, the way that I'm treating it, and also thinking about this as not like a quick fix program, but rather how I can reframe the rest of my life, and the practices that I can take from this, I can hopefully implement very naturally moving forward. So that is my little personal training update. I feel good. I feel like I'm very excited for what's to come. I'm feeling very confident. I'm feeling very strong, which is really neat. I love that I'm tracking. I've never done this before. I've never tracked how many pounds I'm lifting every single week, like in the gym. Let's say for my deadlifts, for example, I'd never tracked that before, which feels dumb. And it feels like I was doing my lifts an injustice for probably like 4 years. So it's cool that now I know how much I'm lifting. I can look at that number, and next time I'm in the gym, I can try that or go harder, go heavier, etc. And I think that's really stinking neat. So sometimes it feels like there's just simple things that maybe I should have been doing all along, and I just needed that extra push, guidance, etc. But I'm grateful that we're starting now. You know, it feels like sometimes you slap yourself in the foot, like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I waste so much time? But everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. And sometimes, you know, your journey, it's never linear, but you have to go through the trenches. What's the phrase? You got to go through the swamps to get to the castle. I don't know. Just made that one up. Sounds kind of cute. But yeah. So hopefully the rest of the few weeks goes well. I'll give you another update in the coming weeks, and we'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see how we're doing. And yeah, I'm sending you lots of love if you're on a similar journey right now yourself. And if not, I hope you're enjoying your life. Hope you're doing fun workouts that you are feeling inspired by, that make you happy, that make you joyous. I'm not forgetting my question of the week. Don't you think that I did? Because I would never do that to you. My question of the week. Question of the week comes from Hannah. She says, hey, I loved your recent episode, and I wanted to know how you get yourself back on track when you find it really difficult and you keep giving up with your fitness and nutrition. I'm sorry, I need to reread that. I wanted to know how you get yourself back on track when you find it really difficult and keep giving up with your fitness and nutrition. Hope you have a great day. Okay, I see what she's saying. So, first and foremost, I feel like I've tried to do a better job lately in my own rhetoric that I haven't done in the past, of not feeling like I'm always, quote unquote, needing to get back on track. Because I think previously I always felt like, oh, I'm falling off the bandwagon, or, I'm not doing a great job of staying diligent this week, when I really should be reframing that more in the eyes of what had I been doing that didn't feel sustainable to my everyday lifestyle that's maybe holding me back from living my life as I can on a healthy and sustainable basis. That was a lot of words. Really just to say, I feel like I've always been stuck in like this is my 12-week fix and I'm going to do this consecutively. I'm going to go to the gym 900 times a day and blah, blah, blah. When I know in actuality that's going to lead me to failure eventually because I'm not thinking of that as a realistic every single day type of routine. If I'm not setting myself up for success to begin with, then I've probably given myself a bad routine, aka I shouldn't be thinking about it as getting back on track. I should be restructuring my routine to make sure that it's something I can sustain possibly for the rest of my life, So if you're thinking about this, for your healthy lifestyle and you're feeling like you want to make some changes or maybe in your eyes, you want to get quote unquote back on track, I would challenge you that exact same thing. I forgot to mention that there's shoulder pads in this thing. I just saw them in the viewfinder and they're quite vibrant. I'm going to cover them up with my hair because they're like very fluffy, very shoulder paddy. Back to the question. I would challenge you to think, what are ways that I can sustainably make changes in my current routine that aren't going to make me feel like I'm a failure if I don't keep this up, Because if you tell yourself, I'm going to have a quote unquote, big quote unquote, perfect diet, let's say, all week long or whatever. First of all, what does a perfect diet even mean? Second of all, that's not realistic. That's not sustainable. And you should be thinking about this maybe from the perspective of, I'm going to add one green item, one vegetable to every single day of the week. I was going to say every meal, but that even feels more unrealistic. Once a day, having one type of vegetable. How can I do that? I think that's a lot more of a sustainable way to quote unquote get back on track than to think I'm going to have this perfect diet and this perfect workout routine every single day. And honestly, something else that I might recommend, I would highly suggest unfollowing accounts, especially on TikTok. I hate to say this, but I would unfollow accounts that aren't promoting the same type of lifestyle that you want to be living. I very quickly scroll past things that come up on my For You page that I find to be almost like toxic because of the way that it's a lifestyle that's being promoted to me that I just know will never align with who I am as a person. I'm never going to be that type of person. So why make myself feel like complete shit by comparing my lifestyle to theirs? Because I do. And I sit there and I pick myself apart and I make myself feel down. And it has nothing to do with them. Like, that is amazing that they're promoting that type of content that aligns with who they are and what they like to do. But if it's making me feel down on myself, first of all, that's a me problem. But I don't want to keep that energy in my life anymore if it's going to not make me feel like the best kind of Taylor that I can be. I want to not feel like shit every time I scroll on social media. And by doing that, that means taking away things that don't make me feel challenged in a good way. Like I said, that's a me problem. That's not a them problem. It has nothing to do with the content that they're creating, but it hasn't helped me in the past by just sitting there and saying, wow, their life is perfect. How do I have that type of lifestyle? Because it's not going to be me ever. So that was a very long-winded way of saying that you should just try and implement like small, easy goals into your routine to quote unquote get back on track. But I would also challenge you to think of how you can implement easy things that are something that you can do for the rest of your life that's not going to make you feel like poop if you fall off of your train and you have a hard time getting back on, because it should never be something that's so unrealistic that it's not long lasting. Now, speaking of TikTok, my wellness tip of the week. Here we go. Everybody, buckle up. We're putting on our roller coaster seatbelts. My wellness tip of the week for you all is to be very cognizant of your screen time. I have caught myself in a bad little loop of consuming way too much social media the past few weeks. And I notice like such an intense connection between my positive mood and my self-esteem and the amount of content that I'm consuming, because it eats me alive. Have I already given this wellness tip before? I don't remember. Oh my golly. I hope that this is not repeated. I really hope it's not. If it is, we are having a second reminder. But if it isn't, hello. Welcome to the wellness tip. That's so embarrassing. I swear I hadn't, but here we go. I'm serious though. I have learned that if I sit on my phone all night long and I tell myself, you know, I'm just feeling down on myself and blah, 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 but I just keep scrolling and scrolling, it only gets worse. I'm only adding to my negativity. I'm adding to my low mood at that point in the night. And if I have like a whole night's plan of filming and recording and editing, etc., but I get swamped in my phone and I just let my phone consume me, my mood is just so negative. And I really truly believe that consuming too much screen time is just, it's not good for us. And it has a direct correlation to our dopamine. And it's one of those things where if you're constantly getting new information over and over again, it feels like a little bit of an addiction. So if you need those controls on your phone where you can program how long you stay on certain apps, how long you're just on your phone in general, use them. Don't, what's the word? Like turn them off if they alarm you that you're about to go over your time. Be very thoughtful about your sleep schedule. Take your phone, put it far away when it's time to go to sleep at night. Use my red light trick if that's something that you like. Now I'm remembering I have talked about this a little bit before, but who cares? Here we keep going. I want to keep talking about this because it makes me very sad when I get very sad, and I don't want anybody else to feel that way because I can call myself out on it now, but in the moment it feels like it's just this endless cycle of how do I not keep scrolling? Like you almost have to force yourself to do something else because it's so addictive and it's dangerous and it's scary. And so I need a happier thing to end this episode on. A Christmas carol? Should we end every episode with a quick little Christmas carol? Well, I was just listening to a Christmas playlist. This is Christmas hits on Spotify. I need to update my Christmas playlist. If you're looking for one to get into the holiday spirit with, I do have one on my Spotify account. My Spotify is just my name, Taylor Woods, but you might type it in with my Instagram handle name, Taylor Woods with 2 L's. But I created this playlist forever ago. I think it's called Oh Santa. It's called Oh Santa with 2 exclamation points. And it's a pretty darn good playlist. I do update it a lot because I get bored of certain songs, you know, as the season goes on. But just right before this, I was listening to a Spotify curated playlist. This was I Need You Christmas by the Jonas Brothers. Right beforehand was Dean Martin, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you all know I'm a big fan of Dean Martin. So I'll sing you out to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I hope you know that I can't sing. This is embarrassing. And if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows like a light bulb. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for listening. I feel like today's episode was hopefully a little bit fun, a lot of bit chaotic, a lot of it all over the place, but I loved getting into the holiday spirit with you all. I hope that you are looking forward to these fun holiday episodes to come. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. Love you all. See you in the next one. Why did I sing it twice?